Hello and welcome to TUX series. Today we will continue with Openbox. It is placed in this directory and translation to the English is placed in this file. Openbox project, the screenshot is shown here. It is called the Borg Cube according to Star Trek. I try to design it by the Borg Cube with this wallpaper and the logo of Openbox. The colorization is driven by these colors and combine it with dark one. What is Openbox? Openbox is lightweight and highly configurable window manager. It implements the floating layout, not tiling. It follows the rules for Gnome or KDE. Openbox can be used with combination, of this desktop environments, or it can be used alone with Openbox Session. The main pages are placed here. You can visit it, and of course the Openbox official documentation is here. Today we will try to some basic actions of Openbox for configuration, key bindings for keyboards and the mouse. Openbox combine the mouse and keyboard and can create very nice actions and possibility to handle your window manager windows and next applications which can be combined in the Openbox environment. Now we will return to our project. Our Openbox project is included in this link. If I open it, there is full configuration for Borg Cube project, which is shown here, with complete key bindings and mouse improvements and some very great actions for Windows and some simple tiling, but you have to understand that this is primarily focused for floating layouts. So you can check out this project and follow our series. So I will continue with Openbox installation. About Openbox installation, you can follow ArchWiki. I prepared here the example of basic installation of Openbox. There are the main package of Openbox and some fonts which are for default configurations, and the example of Openbox file browser, which can be integrated with menu extensions, with pipe menus. Because Openbox is just window manager, you have to add some next components which will handle your full desktop environment. There are many choices. I select this combination with a Python, Nitrogen, and there are two possibilities for the panels. The standard Openbox panel is this Tint 2, and second one, which is common, is Polybar. In this video I will use the Polybar because I will prepare some video for the Mapbox Linux, which has the special distribution for the Openbox. This box has very large extensions for Tint 2. I want to present both panels, so in this case, in this project, I will use the Polybar. Polybar is shown here in the top, and inside this next notes we will visit the project for Polybar configuration. VolCTL is about sound system controls, clip menu and parse light are for control your clipboard. About notification support, I use XFCE for notification package, which can be combined with Openbox or next window managers. About separate Openbox session, there is important to say inside the ArchWiki that if you want to use the Openbox alone, you have to use for start Openbox Session, because Openbox Session provides the Autostart scripts and the environment file. So if you look, I have in initrc the Openbox Session, yes, which ensures that the environment and Autostart files will be started. So if I visit the Openbox directory, there are 4 default files. It is Autostart, environment, menu XML and RC XML. The main file is RC XML, which define all key bindings, all window configuration, complete standard configuration of Openbox, and possibility to add some additional configuration of extensions. Next important file for Openbox is large support of menus. If you like approach with 7 menus and types and handling of it, Openbox is best. About Autostart, we can look on Autostart. It is some standard file which were used in our previous series. I just copy here some our services and the main components which has to be started for Openbox session. So you can see that there is the nitrogen for wallpaper, notification daemon from XFCE4, Conky on the right side, Python, and there has to be placed the Polybar project. Full complete our desktop environment is inside this list. You can use it for your configuration. Any part of this has some separate projects. So if I open the Polybar config, there is the project for Polybar with description and possibilities which are included, and the installation steps are described in installation paragraph. It is just only some git clone of this project and start the main script from config Polybar. Here config Polybar launch sh. So if you look, there is present inside the Autostart file that the Polybar is started with appropriate appropriate scheme. About schemes, you can press the right button on this icon, and you can select the scheme of the polybar. So there are, for example, the groove box, north, and our default is some combination with dark one. For your navigation, you have two choices. You can use Rofi. This is next project, Rofi themes, which defines many themes. Here you can look to these screenshots, and again there is some description here how to install it. It is the same approach. It means the git clone of this project to the config Rofi, and appropriate theme can be selected by the Rofi main configuration file config Rasi. Rofi is bind to key binding super S. So I open it. You can type, for example, atom. You can start it. Or, for example, do Emacs. Okay, it works. So, second very powerful possibility for navigation is the menus, Openbox menus. There are three types: static, pipes, it's some dynamic solution, and generators. It is some combination between a static and a dynamic. Static, it's some fixed configuration by XML structure, and it is placed in menu XML files. You can add many menus which you want. If I press the right button in wallpaper, you can see that there is some my default menu which is prepared for you. There are prepared some default applications which were used in previous series, and not just static parts, it can be combined with pipes. For example, there is the browse, which open dynamically your home there. You can see, for example, some files, directories which are placed there, and if you visit the file, you can select what you want to do with this file. For example, I try to open the license in Doom Emacs. Openbox has the GUI configuration applications for configuration of standard parameters of Openbox, OB-conf or OB application, OB apps, and next possibility for configuration the menus. But it is much more easier to configure inside the XML files by your favorite editor. If you look, for example, we can continue with fast description of our menus. I opened nvim and the menu XML file. In the bottom file there is the main section, the root menu ID, and it is our menu which was present, and there are included all the IDs of separate rows, which includes the additional inside sub-menus, which is the fixed types, the static, or you can use the pipes menus, dynamic. If you look to the ID, the browse menu, I find the browse menu. It is here. There is used our component, which was present in paru command in our installation process, and this component is called OB file browser, and the input argument is which directory will be used for visualization. The execute action is typical for the pipe processing. The static menus are simple. You just define the menu entry and define the sub entries for each item which will be placed in this menu. There are the action, the execute, which is standard for starting of some application. Application name is placed in the command. So all menus are placed here. You can combine it. You can use more menus too. Yes, this is the root menu. If you want to bind next your wishes, it's no problem to define here much more menus. The menu for the Windows itself is driven by the client. Yes, if I press the right button here, you can visit the dynamic menu for the client. It means for the Windows. Yes, there is the possibility for always on top and changing the desktop. Full Openbox configuration is placed in RC XML file. Each entry in Openbox file has the full description. You just follow the reading of this file and changed if you want appropriate parameter. There is my settings. For example, you can see that the focus follow the mouse. Yes, and there is no delay, and you can simply switch the clients. Simple theme definition for the top title bar. The Openbox has some specific signation. This is typical for tint 2 panels. Yes, that each letter describes some functionality. So you can see, and limbs means N window icon, L is the window label, it is here, etc. Minimalization, it is called iconify, maximize, and close. Definitions of fonts, and in the section desktops are defined the workspaces. I used 5 of them. There is important that these names has to be defined by this way, because I used this name as the IDs to the polybar. Inside the polybar are used these IDs for definition of icons and linkage between polybar and the window manager. So please keep these are names, or you have to change it in the Polybar project. Ergonomic key bindings. It is here. You have to read the documentation. There are some specific actions which can be used. There are not the lot of them, so it is simple, but it is necessary to understand what each action means. You can see, for example, the actions go to desktop, send to desktop, toggle show desktop. So inside the documentation, the link was present here. You can read the details for each actions. My configuration is typical for the previous series. So for example, super enter, start our terminal, closing the windows is super shift C, standard. The change the workspaces is super right left. You can change the workspaces. Very nice is the change workspace for active window. You can use shift super left and right. So you can see when the focus was changed to the next workspace, and we see the active client. So super shift left or right, and you can easily move the active window. It is very nice. I include this configuration too of some window manager too, and it's very nice feature. Yes, because the standard from the other window managers is where the window is moved, but your focus is still keep in actual workspace. Toggle full screen, standard super F. Yes, now you can use your Vim key binding for movement of inside the Firefox, and press again the super F to return to the previous position. Super M is maximization, the top polybar is keep. Super JK, you can switch easily between the windows. And in the last part you can see the key bindings for running applications. There is the Rofi application, Dolphin. You can add much more here. After this section is mouse handling. So there is many next possibilities for extension of your window manager. There is a standard super and left mouse click. You can move the window on resize with right button, or make this trick, yes, with mouse scroll. And of course you can switch the workspaces by scroll. There is a special section inside the mouse is title bar, and you can define the double clicking, for example, and several next possibilities. Opening menus with the right clicking, And the bottom part of this file, there is possibility to make some rules for decorations. I added the key binding for hiding of title bars it's super T. So now you have just the window without title bars, and you can still move it as with your key bindings, no problem. So if you plan usage just the windows with no decoration, it is defined in this inside this entry with appropriate rule. The last nice trick is some simplification of window tiling, window snapping, and I use the combination super control with the arrows. So I can move or snap as this window with control super left, change the application super control right, and you can move to the center or to the right. So now you have the standard layouting, yes, for combination, for example, for two sides, but of course it's not possible as if I move it, as this previous size is still kept, yes, it's floating layout, yes. So I can make it with top up arrow, you can maximize it and return to the previous position. It is the down arrow, yes, and the snapping is returned back to the previous floating style. So I press the control super right and you can now use it. So you can see very easily to use some possibility to change visualization very quickly. So from my side, Openbox is a very fast and clear window manager. It has very good implementation. If you look, for example, the resizing is very fast. Not bad, yes. With comparison with next window managers, this is top. It has very clear configuration with 2 XML files. It is simple for standard users. You can simple backup your files or share with your friends. You can see, yes, in the GitHub project there is very powerful configuration of the menus with dynamic supports or static support. You can use GUI. For example, there is some GUI which can configure the defaults. It is here, the Openbox Configuration Manager. You can select the theme, there are some visualization, and all next things I already described in XML. So you have 2 choices, but for me much more simple is XML structure. Openbox is Lego system, so you can combine which components you can use, which you like, and make some linkages between your favorite components. But it is not centric system. There is no one programming language like Awesome. This is not nice because the centric system brings very powerful approach for your workflows, and the combinations, yes, between notifications, error supports, and many next scripts, which is not very extends for some bash scripting. You in the centric system you still use one language. In of some it is Lua, and it is much more simple to combine the framework components together. In the Openbox Lego system, you need to understand that some components can have some cross-concern problems. Yes, some configuration principles can be different, and you have to learn how to configure each components, how to combine the linkage between the components. But in this my example, it is not complicated. Yes, you make it very fast, some desktop environment, which can be much more better some Gnome approach, because you include your own solutions, your key bindings, your theme, your notifications, etc. So welcome to the Openbox. You can try it, and you will see that it brings many new possibilities for your work. The next video will be the Gnome 42 with full powerful configuration. It will be present. I already prepared some configuration stuff here for English. It works now. I'm very happy. So we will continue in the next session with this best screenshots from the 42 version. So have a nice day and see ya in the next video.